Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program brought to you by Madisonville Marine, G3 Sportsman, G3 Suncatcher, G3 John Boats, Stingray, Sweetwater, Hurricane. Folks, those are just some of the brands of boats that you'll find in the showroom and on the giant lot down at Madisonville Marine. It's time to start planning ahead to 2018. Do your research and also whet your appetite. Down at Madisonville Marine, take a look at all the boats that they have down there. They've been around for more than 40 years. There's a reason. Madisonville Marine. All right, I want to welcome in the next two members of the panel right here. VFL Lamarcus Thompson, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
And right there, how did he get here? Chuck Cavaleris is with us. All right, Chuck Cavaleris is with us. Guys, I want to start by going to a quick graphic here. There's Butch Jones' 5-year run against Florida in 2013. That was the Nathan Peterman meltdown. They had the better team. You lose that one. But in 2014, Tennessee led 9-0 before Worley fumbled and they blew the game 10-9. 2015, you led by 13, and then the fourth quarter they come back, including on yet another 63-yard touchdown pass to win the game. Last year, the Vols break through. They get the huge 35-point second half. They win against a 19-ranked Florida. And then yesterday, they lose in awkward fashion. Butch Jones has been neck and neck with Tennessee's biggest rival over the last 4 years, but he's only won one of those 3 games. This could probably go either way. You know, whenever a coach loses, you're going to look at it and criticize. But the close losses, if you're getting blown out, you could make a case, well, you just don't have the talent Florida has. The fact that you keep losing the close ones, 1-3 now in those close ones, does that more of an indictment on Butch Jones than even a big loss would be?
I definitely think it's on Butch Jones. The reason I say that is because you have Florida teams that are not as strong as they used to be. I mean, to be honest with you, back, let's say the Tebow days, you know, when you had those type of teams where you had all type of players, all type of athletes all over the field that can make plays, that's when you can definitely get, you know, beat out the game. But now we're talking about teams that are very, very, you know, not as much talent. I shouldn't say not talentless, but not as much talent, and we're not pulling the game through. So that's telling me that's coaching to me. I'm gonna be honest with you, 100%. That's 100% coaching.
Chuck?
And it seems like Butch Jones keeps saying one thing, and during the game, Tennessee does something else. He says Tennessee's got to run the ball in the red zone. Well, during the game, you don't run the ball in the red zone. He says Tennessee cannot settle for field goals. You keep settling for field goal attempts when you've had a chance to take control of the game. And the one thing I wonder about Tennessee, why do they consistently get off to such slow starts, poor starts? Is that a sign of a well-coached team?
Well, what's funny is you go back 2 seasons ago and it was the opposite. They started strong and couldn't finish.
Right.
We're going to talk about how streaky these teams are later and why I think that's one of the reasons fans get frustrated. Josh and Jimmy, your thoughts on, you look at his record, just against Florida, your biggest rival for most fans out there. The talent level is more equal now. You credit him for building it up, and a little bit for Florida tearing it back down. But you got 1 win out of 4. Is that more of an indictment that they're losing close games? Does that tell you more it's more about coaching than it would even if it were blowouts?
Well, and Tennessee fans, from their perspective, have seen a lot of losses to Florida. And in a lot of those games, there were the blowouts or the lopsided difference going in. The last 4 years, I think Tennessee fans feel like they've watched games where, for the most part, Tennessee outplayed the Gators and should have come out of there with at least 2 or 3 wins, and you're 1-3 in those games. I think that adds to the frustration that you feel like you're watching a team that's better than Florida, and that team loses.
Well, and I thought Tennessee, talent-wise, should have been. I mean, Florida was without a starting linebacker. They were without their 2 best offensive players who were suspended. And while some of the other defensive players that were suspended weren't starters, they were depth players. So you had some of the depth on defense that was gone from Florida. And yet Tennessee had 3 interceptions. They had 3 illegal procedure penalties inside the red zone, poor play calling in the red zone. And 2 of Florida's, almost half of their offense came on 2 plays. The 63-yarder and then the 70-something yard run where Justin Martin is credit forced the fumble, but that's almost half of their offense, 2 plays.
To me, the fact that it's close games, you keep losing close games, the closer it is, the more I want to look at coaching. And I think
I should have mentioned that.
We're good.
Yeah, I do think that is an issue.
Well, I mean,
we got to catch a break.
Okay, go ahead.
But if you get 10 seconds, go.
Well, Butch Jones says you got to win 50-50 balls. He said that to CBS. When, as a coach, is he going to win 50-50 games?
Oh, nice one.
Thank you.
Let me show you another stat that I think is interesting. Butch Bad Dog Butch Jones is 24-6. Somebody's going to say, well, just look at the last 30. Because the search engine I used, let me look at 10 games, 20 games, 30 games. So the last 30 games was 24-6 as a favorite at Tennessee. However, he's been an underdog at Tennessee 18 times. He's 3-15.
Wow.
3-15. Doesn't win as an underdog. Okay, not a lot anyway. He has some, but not tons. All right, when we come back, we still got to talk about the quarterback situation. We got more Jones stuff. But next, we're going to play a little game of true or false. This should be interesting. That includes something about how streaky the Vols are and why they probably get on a lot of people's nerves. Come on back.